Hey there, I'm Sal. Thanks for checking out the video. This weekend marks 2 years of making YouTube videos on this channel, which is crazy. It's been a wild ride, but I've been loving every minute of it. But for today's video, I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a couple things, starting with talking about how much money I've spent on the truck and the car in the last year. It adds up quickly, but I don't think it was too bad. Then we're gonna go and I want to show you YouTube Studio. It's kind of a behind the scenes look at what kind of data I can see on how the videos are doing, how much money I make from the videos, and just other stuff that YouTube provides to us. And then lastly, I want to talk through how I thought the year went, and kind of my plans moving forward for this year coming. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's jump into it. First off, it's a balmy 30 degrees outside, so I apologize if you see any shivering, but I'm just gonna try and bang this out nice and quick. In the last year, since my last year in review video, I've made 30 videos, and it's just been a mixture of mods and maintenance to both the truck and the car, and then I recently picked up the Audi, so there's been one video about that, plenty more coming next year. But yeah, I thought it'd be good to split up the costs by mods and maintenance. And we'll start with the car first. So on the car, I spent a total of $938. $257 of that was for maintenance, and the remaining $681 was for fun modifications and non-essentials. So some of the big ticket items there were the dashboard was $450. I got the not uncracked dash, so that was a big chunk. And then the oil and coolant fixes, including the shroud, that accounted for most of the maintenance costs, because that was almost $200 or a little bit more than $200 all in for all that stuff. But less than $1,000 on the car this year, which I feel like is pretty reasonable for a car that I don't drive super often. On the truck, I spent a total of $2,325 on the truck. $914 of that was on maintenance, and then the remaining $1,411 was for fun and I'll say non-essential upgrades, because I included the tires in that fun category. It's debatable, but I didn't really need new tires, and I wouldn't call that a maintenance item on the truck, but again, debatable. Talking through some of the big ones here, for maintenance, the big ones were the coil packs and spark plugs when I had that misfire a couple months ago, almost a year ago probably. And that was almost $500 there. And then the shocks, I recently did those needed to be replaced, and those were $350. And then I recently have been doing the tensioner pulleys and the serpentine belt, and that's another $100 or so there. So that adds up. And then for the fun, like I said, I included the tires. That was almost $800 installed. And then honestly, other than that, it's a bunch of little things that add up really quickly. So yeah, $2,300 on the truck, $940 on the car. If you add that up, it's a total of $3,263 on both cars this year, which sounds like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but I did the math, and that's $272 a month. And one of my biggest, not excuses, justifications for having two older cars as opposed to like one newer car is that I like to work on cars, and I don't mind having to do maintenance myself. And in my mind, the operating costs of having two older cars would be less than just paying for a new car. And this, at least for this past year, kind of confirms that, because $272 a month, if I was going to go out and get a new car that I actually enjoy and I think would be super cool, like a newer 4Runner or a new Tacoma or something like that, the monthly car payment is definitely going to be more than, call it $300 a month. It's probably going to be 5, 6, something much higher than $300 a month. So it made me feel a little bit better about it. And yeah, I am freezing, so we're gonna wrap this up and I'll go show you YouTube Studio inside.
Okay, so let's jump into talking about YouTube Studio a little bit. For those of you who don't know, YouTube Studio is the page that we use to upload videos, check out analytics, respond to comments. Anything that you could think of that we do with YouTube is done here on YouTube Studio. And I thought today would be kind of cool to talk through what you can see on YouTube Studio because they provide so much data and information and just a lot of cool things that I thought I was curious about before I started a YouTube channel. And just give you an idea of what that looks like for a small channel like mine with 6,104 subscribers as of today. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. This is the home page. They call it the dashboard. And this middle box here is what I like to focus on most. I can just quick glance, see how many subscribers I've got, plus 386 in the last month. That's great. Anything between 3 and 4, I'm super happy with. Over 4, I'm ecstatic. But this is, I'm really satisfied with that. Below here, this is all for the last month. 41,000 views. Anything over 40, I'm really happy with. Watch time, I don't really spend too much time caring about this, but it's just how many hours people have spent watching the videos. And then estimated revenue, the thing that I was always most curious about before starting YouTube, 220 bucks a month on average, give or take. We'll get into that a little bit more when we talk about the analytics, but yeah, those are the three high hitting points. These show you the top 3 videos for the last 2 days. So anything over 400 views is doing really well, like above average. Anything at over 300 views, I'm really happy with. And then in the 2s is just kind of average and just chugging along, doing well. This left pane here is a little bit more important to me in the first day or 2 after posting a video because it gives you some real-time updates on how it's doing. You can see this video is a little below average. It is a car video, so it kind of makes sense, but here it's really cool. It compares it to the last 10 videos that you've posted, but at the same time since it was posted. So this is comparing all of these videos 13 days and 6 hours after they were posted. So at that point, this video had 2,500 views. This video had 878 views. And then this car exhaust video has 621 views. So these videos have more than that now, but at 13 days, 6 hours, this is where they were at. So I just think that's kind of cool how they do that. Kind of gives you a way to gauge how the new videos have been doing against some of the older ones. Next, we'll jump into content. So this is just where you got all your videos lined up. You can see we've got 87 videos posted, pretty wild. Looking forward to keep growing that number. But what I like to look for here is over on the right side, just making sure that this like to dislike ratio is staying nice and high. I think the lowest is like 94 or something like that. But yeah, overall, everyone is pretty supportive of the videos. Some of the ones with more views, like let's see, this one has 37,000 views, so it's got 14 dislikes, but it's still at 99%. So that's kind of fun. It's just interesting to see sometimes. But yeah, that's the quick down and dirty on content. We'll come back there in a second. Analytics. So this is all for the last month. And some of the information on these pages is repeated. So if you see it multiple times, I guess they just kind of try to put it all over the place for you to see it. But this is where if you did YouTube as a job, that you would live here. You would always be in analytics, making sure that your videos are doing well because, I mean, it's kind of your livelihood. Like, you want to make sure that they're getting to the people who they need to get to, you're making the money that you need to make, and yeah, I spend a little bit less time here because obviously I'm not living off of 200 bucks a month. This is just a side hobby that happens to make some extra income for me that I pour back into the channel. But yeah, regardless, it's still good information for the channel, and I think it's interesting to share with you guys. So again, this is all stuff that's been repeated already, and then this is just more information that I don't really care about. This is always interesting to me, views in the last 2 days in total for the channel. Anything over 3 is really good. I'm happy with it. Between 2,500 and 3,000, I'm happy with that too. Coming over into content, so views, we've already talked about it, but I'd say I average around 1,500 views a day, but it fluctuates, obviously. Impressions, this is how many times my thumbnails show up on people's screens. They could be on their phone, it could be on the home page, it could be in like that sidebar when you're watching a video for the other suggested videos. Whatever it might be, that's an impression. And then the thing next to it here, the impressions click-through rate, 5.5%, that's how many times people actually click on the thumbnail. So this math doesn't really work. 5.5% of this is more like 30,000, not 41,000. So I don't know how they're getting this, but regardless, that's the idea behind it, is you want this to be as high as possible. So that's what drives, bigger YouTubers to have all the catchy thumbnails and stuff like that to try and get people to click. Average view duration, I don't really care about this either, but if you're curious, it hovers around 4 minutes. Um, Other information down here, nothing that I spend a lot of time caring about. Audience, I honestly don't spend a ton of time on this page. Big thing I'm looking for here is just new viewers are higher than returning viewers. These are people who have never seen a video from the channel before, and this is good. If it's higher, then that means the channel's growing, and that's always the goal, right? So that's good here. I don't even really know what unique viewers means, and then subscribers we've already talked about. This has never once given me any helpful information. It just always says low for all of the videos, so don't know what that's about. This is always interesting. Everyone watches YouTube in the evening, which makes sense, but like Monday night and Tuesday night are a little bit busier than Saturday night. Everyone's going out. Let's see. 400 people are subscribed with all notifications on, which is kind of cool. This is something that you might be surprised by if you're not super familiar with how this works, but only 11% of viewers on the channel are actually subscribed. So you might expect it to be higher, but if you think about it, if we go back to content quick, 41,000 views in the last month. If everyone who watched was a subscriber, then I'd have 41,000 subscribers, and that's just not the case. So a lot of times, this is pretty standard across the board. The subscriber base will be a lot smaller than the total number of viewers. Checking out some of the other stuff. Shout out to the 2% of women watching my videos. Appreciate you guys. And some other good stuff. Again, you can pause it and check it out if you want. Revenue. So this is what everyone is curious about. Like I said, $220 for the last 28 days. You can see January ongoing, $136. December and November, the ad companies will actually pay a little bit more because it's the holiday season. So you'll see that's a little bit higher than some of the other months. And generally that's why, because the ad companies are paying more. But yeah, you can see like in the last 28 days, 4 weeks, this video has made me $28. So it's all this cool information that you can find on here. Something really quickly I want to talk about for monetization and making money on YouTube. Before I started a channel, I didn't have a good understanding of how you get monetized and what those requirements are. And really it comes down to 4 things that YouTube publishes. It's 2 of them are more paperwork related, and then 2 are actual like performance metrics. So the first one is you just got to have your tax form submitted. Super easy. Get all that set up with YouTube. Then the next one is you can't have any copyright issues on your videos or use copyrighted music, stuff like that. That's a disqualifier. And then the 2 performance metrics ones are you have to have 1,000 subscribers. So that's kind of like the big checkpoint once you reach 1,000 subscribers. And then the other one is 4,000 watch hours. So I had showed you guys before, I think we were at 2.7 or 2,700 for the last month, if I remember correctly. So when I was starting the channel, I wasn't sure if I was going to reach 1,000 subscribers first or 4,000 watch hours first. And I ended up reaching the watch hours first, and then I got 1,000 subscribers like a month later or something like that. But it was just interesting to me because I think the reasoning is a lot of my early videos were a little bit longer. They're like 20 minutes or so. So, people watch it for longer as opposed to a bunch of 2-minute videos where it would take a little bit longer to get those watch hours up. Cool. And then last thing here is research. Oh, but for revenue, last thing I wanted to say. So I met those metrics in October of the year that I started YouTube. So I started in January, met them in, maybe it was September. We'll call it October. So 10 months to reach 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. This last page here is the research page. Again, I'd never come on here, but it would be a much bigger deal if I had a bigger channel and it was like my main source of income, because this is like what my subscribers search on YouTube. So if I wanted to have a video that reaches a lot of people, I would make this the title or this the title, you know. And it also just gives you some thumbnails to compare to videos that are doing well. Just again, all sorts of research stuff that I don't care about. But if this was your life and you're worried about SEO, search engine optimization, you'd be hanging out here a lot more and trying to take advantage of that. Now, for analytics, there's obviously big channel analytics, but you can go in and see analytics for each specific video too. So we'll do this one, the interior lights video. You can see, so now all this information is since it was published. So 37,000 views, almost 3,000 watch hours on this video alone. I've gotten 437 subscribers from this video. So that means like while they're watching the video, they click the subscribe button, which is cool. And I've made $250 off of just this video alone. So yeah, pretty cool. It's gotten 241 views in the last 2 days, doing really well, staying solid there. This is interesting because this is audience retention. So this is how many people are still watching at these points in the video. Excuse me. So you can see the gray graph in the back. That is my typical retention, and then the blue one is for this specific video. So you can see like a lot of people it jumps here, and that's because if we go there, that's when I have this picture. So people pause the video, everyone goes there to make sure they have the right amount of lights and all that stuff. So that makes sense, but this is just interesting to look at, see when people drop off. Like a lot of people join back at the end to see the before and afters, which is cool. But yeah, some good information there. Also, specific to this video, it has 500,000 impressions alone in its lifetime. This is the click-through rate for this video, how many views, tons and tons and tons of information that I just, it's not that I don't care about it, it's just it doesn't apply to me as much. If the video does great, great. If it doesn't do well, it doesn't really hurt me either way. One thing I want to talk about here is I was really confused at first. This Google search at 52%. I was like, what? That's crazy. But it's not 52% of 37,000. It's 4.3% of 37,000 came from external sites. And then of that 4.3%, 52% came from Google. 12% came from Facebook. So that's how you read that. Engagement, same thing. Some more information there. Audience, I barely ever come on here for specific videos. It's just more information. And then revenue, just showing what kind of ads people are watching on the video. So yeah, that's the down and dirty on what a specific video looks like, and then what YouTube Studio looks like in general as well. Like I said, a lot of pretty cool information, but I thought you guys would find it interesting.
So I'll try to keep this quick. I know it's a longer video, but yeah, this past year has been awesome. I mean, we've seen great growth from the channel. I think we've built a really good resource for people, whether it's about the Tundra or mostly about the Tundra, a couple great videos about the Nissan. Hopefully we build a good resource about the Audi. But I think there's a lot of good information out there, and not just from me, but information where I post a video and then people will correct me or add on to what I've got posted. People ask questions and people are able to answer them in the comments. There's so much good information on the channel, and I feel such a good community of people wanting to help each other. And it's really cool to see. You might have noticed this year, the videos slowed down a little bit compared to the first year. I just had a lot going on outside of YouTube. This is not my full-time job, as you know. I recently moved into kind of a newer job, and it just takes a lot more time. I do a lot more traveling, and it just means a little bit less time to make YouTube videos. Also, you might know, I redid my entire kitchen, all new cabinets, all new everything. And that took a lot of time and a lot of money away from, we're being able to work on the cars. So hopefully this year coming, I'll be able to make more time to keep the video going strong. My goals are to do a video every other week. You can hold me to it because I'm putting it on video right now, but that's the goal, video every other week. And a more personal goal for me is to keep YouTube as a fun hobby and not let it become a chore. Because when you set goals like that of a video every other week, and it gets to be the Friday of the second week and you haven't recorded anything yet, it's tough because you've got to go do something and maybe you don't always want to do it. And I ran into that a little bit this year, like just being honest. There were a couple weeks where I'm like, man, I haven't posted anything in 3 weeks and I don't have anything, and I just kind of don't have a desire to go pick up the camera. And it's really hard, but the tough thing is you go record the video and you post it and it gets a great reception and you're helping people, and I don't know, the reward is always great and you feel good after you do it, but getting that motivation to go out and actually record the video can be tough sometimes. So that's my goal, is to just keep it as a hobby, keep enjoying it. And I think the best way to do it is just actually make videos and see that you guys enjoy them. And yeah, I don't know. I think for me, what I'm running into now is like the Audi. I have all these interior parts that I'm ready to put on the car, but I want to wait to make a video about it. And they would have already been on like last week because they would all take 2 minutes. But when I set up the camera and do all this to get good angles like I try to do, the 2-minute fix turns into a 15 or 20-minute fix. And then you multiply that times 5. And before you know it, you're out here for a few hours for something that should take a half an hour. So it's that sort of stuff that when you're watching a YouTube video, you don't really think about the effort that goes into it. But when you're actually doing it, it can get to be a little bit monotonous and annoying. So just try and keep it fresh on here and remind myself that, you know, I like looking back at the videos. They're a good resource for you guys, and all that will just keep me going strong. Don't get me wrong, I have no intentions of slowing down or anything. I want to keep this going strong and keep growing the channel, but just trying to be transparent with you guys there. So yeah, with that though, thank you again for another great year. I'm excited to see what comes this year with the new car and all the other little things I have planned for the channel. So yeah, thank you guys again. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, thanks for subscribing.